This is HFO's Multifamily Marketwatch, presented by Pacific Exteriors Northwest, a contractor specializing in siding and exterior envelopes, delivering exceptional quality and service for over 30 years. By Aprio, combining DeLapp's Pacific Northwest experience with Aprio's global resources to offer unparalleled tax, wealth management, and advisory services for real estate owners. And by Kennedy Restoration, helping residential and business owners recover from fire, water, mold, and storm damage.
Welcome back to Multifamily Marketwatch. I'm Greg Frick, partner at HFO Investment Real Estate. Back with us again is Zach Lindahl. He's Director of Government Affairs for Multifamily Northwest. Zach, thanks for taking the time to come back.
Greg, thank you for having me here again. Looking forward to our discussion today.
I thought it'd be interesting for the audience to hear how Multifamily Northwest kind of determines the legislative goals and agenda, for the upcoming sessions. Since, we're talking, we're end of summer, midsummer now, as we start talking about what are the goals and objectives for like 2027, and how does the sausage get made, and how do they decide kind of what to put time to and what not to put time to?
Absolutely, Greg. So as you know, Multifamily Northwest is a member-driven organization. We have about 1,000 members statewide, but what's really key in our organization, much like other trade organizations, is we have a robust government affairs department. And so these are amongst the government affairs department is the government affairs committee, which has about 30 to 40 members that serve in that committee and help us decide what's going to be on our legislative priorities list. So we operate off of really 6 key buckets. Buckets that I'm sure you're very familiar with and your team's very familiar with. So these buckets include supporting operations to maintain affordability in the state of Oregon, renters' resources, finding new innovative ways to help with long-term financing of properties. Evictions is on there, specifically around the public safety portion of evictions. Okay. And of course, patchwork regulation. And then we have vendor members that aren't specific to property management, but are trusted members of the industry. And we also have to work on their issues as well. So we assign different policies that we see and that fall under those buckets. And we essentially create a 2-year timeline for these policies. We update it every 2 years. So we finish our 27-28 biennium priorities about a month or two ago with our government affairs committee. So we're ready to go for the 27 session.
So there's this, I'm on the committee too. So, I know there's, discussion back and forth about why is this a priority for this? Why is this a priority? So this isn't something that's just thrown together, based on what we, think things are going to be. It's really looking as a long-term plan of, these, like you said, buckets we're going to go after, and what are the, how do we spend our time on those?
Join the HFO community and get weekly multifamily intel. Click to subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. So our government affairs committee talks to us about the biggest challenges of the industry.
Right.
And like you said, you are a part of this committee. I hear it from you. I hear it from others, a variety of different issues, whether it's about operations, which is, probably the bucket that we talk about the most, or, whether it's talking about resources for renters, whether it's coming from an OHCS resource like a, rental assistance, or like a renters education, which is often attributed to the work that Transition Projects does. And we talk about these issues, and we really create our priority list around those items and make sure that they're there so we can act as needed.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought we had a meeting who had some active owners and also some, kind of merchant developers. It was just interesting hearing the differences of what the priorities were for those groups. And I, had one of the developers say, God, I didn't realize, some of the challenges you had on the operational side, because again, they're usually in and out. So it's, we have your work cut out for you, is kind of picking which ones to really go after. So in terms of that, how do you weigh to members as to what's realistic and achievable? Everybody comes to you and says, hey, I want to, fight this, or I want to get this changed. How do you kind of, I don't say let them down softly, but kind of let them know, okay, this is doable, this isn't doable?
That's a fantastic question. Every year we enter session, it comes with different challenges,
right.
Different topics that are present at the legislature, some that are relevant in certain years, some that are less relevant. And really, we have to manage expectations. The way we do so is we assign a priority to these policies. We say, what is our highest level priorities? What are the things that we absolutely cannot live with passing? And what are things that we can live with passing? Or things that we can negotiate on. And this helps us create a better understanding of what our department is to focus most of our time on and figure out, what is an absolute bill proposal that we have to kill and make sure does not pass, and what are some items that we can maybe negotiate on and find compromise. And the reason for that is if we know certain items are going to pass, we try to come to the table, work with other stakeholders to ensure that a version that is more palatable to our members is what gets through, and maybe not something that's overly burdensome. And so we really have to manage member expectations and operate kind of on that philosophy that, there's certain things that we're going to have to come to the table on. Which
is interesting because I think we've had a lot of clients and members talk and like, hey, why didn't we, go against this? And sometimes you have to explain it's gonna pass just based on the makeup of the legislation or the legislators. It's gonna pass. So our goal is, we can go out and say we're against it, but then you may not be able to tweak it a little bit here and there. And I think that's one thing you guys have done a good job in kind of changing that expectation where everybody just wants to, why'd you let that go? It's like, well, sometimes you have to let them go, but maybe can we make some changes that are more palatable to our audience? So.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Last year there was a bill that was really centered around how the industry's moved more towards technology, but how that might not be so easy for the older generation. And so we had to come to the table to help support that older generation of residents and renters that need support to ensure that they're able to live in the community, but not be overly confused and burdened by the technology.
Right.
And so we knew we had to come to the table on, and that's just a good example of something to come to the table on.
So what are you thinking, or what are the big themes, shaping up for 2027 in terms of the, what's on the priority list?
Absolutely. So for 2027, we are really focused on a couple of key areas. I think the first that I want to note is rent assistance. I mean, rent assistance is a huge topic, and a lot of folks in Oregon are struggling to make rent. As you know, Multifamily Northwest is one of the biggest champions of rent assistance in the state of Oregon. However, we have some serious concerns with the way that rent assistance is administered. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit.
Right.
But the other area of focus, too, is safety on site. As you've probably seen in the news and through discussion with our members in the Government Affairs Committee, we have a lot of challenges in our communities with folks that are really struggling and are potential safety hazards to the other residents. And this is a topic that we really need to continue to elevate and discuss at the legislature.
And are you feeling more comfortable in terms of, the inroads that you've made down in Salem and here locally in the Portland area about maybe people understanding some of those challenges from the operation? Because I think a lot of people don't really understand the in and out of operations of, rental housing providers.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Government Affairs team, which there's three of us, it's myself and my colleague Johnny, along with our contract lobbyist Jody Hack. And we do a really great job of meeting with all legislators who have an open door policy with our organization, and we help educate them on these safety related concerns. And you see their eyes kind of light up when we talk about these stories and the situations that some of our residents are in that are really not safe. And we're committed to a safe living environment for folks. So I think we're all on the same page, and we're moving forward to finding solutions.
And then for members that want to weigh in, is there a moment where, hey, you're ringing the bell, we need support? I mean, when does that happen within this process?
So to answer your question, I mean, you could weigh into the Multifamily Northwest Government Affairs Department year-round. You could join the Government Affairs Committee. When it comes to policy development and bills, obviously keeping up to date with what's going on in the legislative session is important by joining the Friday session calls, joining the Government Affairs Committee. But it is key that you are paying attention to the committees where the bills are being heard, weighing in with testimony in those committees, or simply doing a call to action to alert your lawmakers of maybe the impacts that some of these policies might have. And the process, it has several steps. Obviously, bills go to a policy committee and then to a floor vote on either the House or the Senate floor eventually. And it's important that you weigh in on every step of the way, because there's lawmakers that maybe aren't always paying attention. It might not be their top issue, but it's important to continue to educate them.
And having constituents go and do that, I think that's the thing I try to tell a lot of our audience. I'm not asking you to be, involved, 9 to 5 on all these issues, but when we do have a call for action to go to Salem, to submit testimony, I mean, it's vital. It just can't come from you and your team.
Absolutely. Lawmakers really value having constituents reach out to them. And so if you own or operate a property in a certain lawmaker's district, it's important that you reach out and say, hey, I'm a constituent of yours, and here's the real world implications of this policy. And they find that really valuable. They hear from myself and my colleagues all the time.
Right.
But hearing from somebody on the ground who is a voter living in their district is very important.
Well, thanks for taking the time to come sit with the audience again. I'm sure we'll do this again real soon, since there's always stuff changing down in Salem and here locally. And we'll see you again next time on HFO Multifamily Marketwatch.
Thank you, Greg.
HFO's entire office specializes in multifamily real estate, making us the largest multifamily brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. Your success is our passion. Like and subscribe to Multifamily Marketwatch videos on YouTube, articles on LinkedIn, and podcasts on all major streaming markets. Build your legacy with HFO. Call 503-241-5541 or visit our website at hfore.com for more information. HFO is a partner of the Global Real Estate Advisor Network.
Love the insights? Tap the like button and click subscribe. It helps us bring more multifamily news straight to you.